they ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
The official servers for the Isle are always chaotic, but you can imagine my joy when I got the opportunity to hunt a Stego. Herreras don't usually hunt Stegos, but when you have 2 Sarah friends and 2 Crocs, right when you log in, helping out with another pack of active Herrera, everything's a target. Now, I had only just logged in, so you can tell that my aim is definitely not where it needs to be. But I can still have my fun on the ground, especially against a wounded Stego that can't afford to sprint after me. Looking to get just the right height, just the right distance, because now I have the timing down. And with that headshot, the charge bite from the Ceras, and the Stego is out. Strange friendships like this don't happen often in the Isle, and you have to take them whenever you can.
Gosh, gosh, bagosh, it's a brand new paperboy. That's a mighty full sack you're carrying.
Piss off, you perverted old freak!
Not much really happening for us over here above the lagoon for quite a bit. Red slaps a raptor. But besides that, everybody goes a little insane with the boredom. And, well, it hits some of us harder than others. However, the good times can't last forever. A new pack of Ceras have moved in, our old friends had to move out. Crocs were nowhere to be seen either, and a new aggressive pack of Ceras came in. Killed one of our pack mates, and the wings of justice anyways, we have to deal with the Ceras now. Herreras thrive in the trees, being able to expertly adjust themselves amongst the branches, being able to lay in perfect ambush positions, not giving away their position whatsoever as they prepare to drop on their unsuspecting prey. Just have to give me a second, I can just, yep, okay, right, yeah, okay, just, okay, 1 second. Alright. As I prepare to jump on that far-off Sarah, I see the one just to the right lie down. And for those of you that don't know, Herreras do more damage based on how high they are and how far they drop. If you are resting, any damage done to you is amplified. So that Sarah was not having a good time. And the hunt was on. Well, as much of a hunt as you could call this. The Ceras started to retreat up the hill, going towards the upper waterfall, looking for a chance to rest. We weren't going to let them, though. This would be the last pounce that we land on the Ceras. For those of you that haven't hunted big game with the Herrera, you very rarely kill with a hit. Usually, it's the bleed, the running around, and the constant anxiety and getting up and getting down from resting that ends up killing your target. And with a victorious one call, the Ceras proceed to go into psychotic breakdown and begin to attack each other in confusion and sorrow for a loss of their packmate. And even though I appreciate the gesture of them getting rid of their own population, it's more fun for me if I get rid of their population. And as you can see, bugs are features here in the Isle of Evrima. And tree climbing can be frustrating at times. Often, I'm sure many of you feel like stuff like this that costs you a jump, costs you positioning, costs you a potential meal. Luckily, I'm in a good spot overall. I've got food, got some pack mates. We're not going to go hungry anytime soon. Might as well get some stamina back. Enjoy the show as well. Honestly, half of the fun of this game is really just watching people. While I was loading up on a couple spare nutrients, bringing some up with me, the croc was munching away on one of the Ceras bodies. This Ceras was just on a complete murder spree. Or trying to. Unfortunately here, I got a little too excited, and I should have aimed farther away, so I can get him as he ran away from the mud. Honestly, most of the fun that I have with Herrera, as well as with Trudon, is just the fact that you can be just an absolute menace. However, awareness of your surroundings is kind of a big deal. Maybe don't start typing in chat next to a Ceras. But man, oh man, was this Ceras on a mission. Getting as much food from anywhere he can. Almost getting grabbed by a croc here, too. The rest of my time was spent just kind of meandering, wandering around. There wasn't much happening here now. South Plains is a bit of a hit or miss. You either find everything there, or it's a complete ghost town for large periods of time. It's just a matter of being in the right place at the right time, and well, if you're having trouble actually finding something in the area where you're just kind of sitting around, sometimes it's time to move. But when you have all your needs met, your hunger is relatively full, and you want to get some anxiety drinking water, between moments like that, you can enjoy the game. The beauty of it, turn up your graphics, hang out for a little bit, watch, talk with some buddies. I'll just gives you plenty of free time. We were still on the lookout for those Ceras that were here before. We hadn't heard them in a while. We assumed they were running off to rest, maybe acquiring new packmates. It got to the point where there was quite literally nothing here. And like I said before, when there's nothing here or you're hearing action happen elsewhere, pack up your bags and get ready to get moving. And nothing like an audio cue, like a couple of Ceras opening their big stinky mouths to let me know who my next target's gonna be. And would you know it? Kinda hard to tell from this distance, but that's the same Ceras from before. He'd managed to get away from us, and looks like he was trying to acquire some new friends. Timing of that was just terrifying. I had seen the Ceras over here, but I don't know where he went. He left my render range, so I couldn't physically see him anymore until I had to cross over the river. We started hearing other Ceras, Carnos, so action was starting to pick up for sure. And I spotted him again, running up the hill. Tracking in this game is already difficult when you're only going off of the visuals. Luckily, I happened to run over his footsteps a little bit earlier, and now the chase can begin. When it comes to actually tracking down targets, there's two different ways of doing it, and I guess, two different situations. There's tracking an unsuspecting target, and there's tracking a suspecting target. When someone doesn't know you're coming after them, you can take your time, follow their footsteps, look at their track, see where they're on the map, and you can start to guesstimate where people are heading based on what they are, what you last saw them doing, and kind of where they stop at. If you ever run into a stint where you lose track of those footprints for a period of time, sit still, sniff for a little bit, and move around. I already know he went up on the other side of the hill. It's a matter of how far has he gone past that now. Some of those footprints disappear. At this point, I need to start sprinting to catch up because I think that timer's moving. I see where those tracks are pointing. Looks like he's still heading into the woods, so off to the woods I go. Now I'm using less of the footprints and more of the audio cues and everything else that's going on around me. It's very, very easy because Ceras have very, very big mouths. I end up following these tracks a little ways into the woods. Following kind of along the course of the river in South Plains. My two surviving packmates are down low. And they communicate with me that, hey, something's up on the cliff by you. Communication coordination. That's what helps you hunt large things. I get myself situated up into one of the trees, and this is where I think a lot of people might be playing Herrera a little bit too aggressively. A lot of people would immediately get themselves up as high as they can and immediately drop down. But if you sit and watch for a little bit, the Ceras behavior had me a little bit on edge. They were stopping, they weren't communicating via the chat, they were just moving around and sitting with their tail pointed towards me. That let me know, especially with this one Ceras sitting down, immediately getting right back up, I think they know someone's up in the trees. Or they think. They just heard something. Buying my time, deciding which target would be the better target. That's what you have to think about when you're playing Herrera. Also timing things with, if I was waiting this long for something to attack me, would I let my guard down? Finally getting a little tired of waiting, and thinking I see a good opportunity to hit them when they're obviously no longer concerned. They've been sitting and resting for a while. Good solid hit, retreat down the cliff. Oh, what the That was a really big Herrera. At this point on, I was just trying to keep them moving. My pack mates had put themselves in a good position. I was the only one attacking so far, so they only knew that there was one Herrera here. Getting them to move around and rotate, keeping an eye on me. For any time they break line of sight, give it a whirl. A couple good lucky jumps. Moving myself away from harm's reach. Just seem to frustrate the Ceras even more. And as my packmates start to land hits, it was only a matter of time. continuously moving up and down the cliff can be very taxing and tiring, especially when you have vomit sickness like this. More good jumps, resting targets, not having a good time. Well, I'm having a great time. They're not having a great time, but it's not my problem. The Ceras were hungry. We interrupted a good meal for them, and we're also bodyguarding their other meal. But this is what happens when you decide to upset a very dedicated group of gremlins. What I'm doing right now is just waiting for the Ceras to actually move up on the body to try to eat it. A lot of people will wait until something starts the eating animation or drinking animation, but if they can break line of sight of you, you can jump with the right timing, hit them while they're in that animation, making it far safer for you and, well, more annoying for them. Couple more leaps of faith. Just stacking on the damage and stacking on the bleed. Now, all three of us are running low on food, water, stamina at this point. But so are the Ceras. And they were at the point where they were deciding it was just not worth getting slapped by a bunch of gravity-defying lizards. So I just reminded them I could also bite them normally. Unfortunately for us, we don't get to finish off those Ceras. They end up going off to who knows where. Running away, and we're too tired and hurt to really chase and go after. So we just rest up. We've had a good, long, exciting day. The Isle doesn't always provide like it did today. It really doesn't. Most of the time, it's really just a respawn simulator. You'll spend more hours as a fresh spawn and juvenile than you will as a full-grown of any kind. Now, some lifestyles may seem quote-unquote easier, more adaptable, but it eventually just comes down to you and your playstyle. But with a very, very, very successful hunt, decided it was time to heal up, rest up, and get ready to log out for the day. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys want to see me play anything else, just let me know. Do all that algorithm stuff, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. I decided to throw some brain cells away in the Isle. Thank you so much. I'll see you. Mwah!